how I feel? Watching a man come into my own home, attack my own wife, and I can't do anything about it? I'm never gonna be in that position again.
Oh, Michael.
Hey.
You remember Officer Davis? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, how you doing? I didn't recognize you had a uniform.
Hey, I'm gonna make sure that your block's patrolled all night long. Would you like to go get a cup of coffee? You're safe with me. I'm a cop, remember?
What's going on?
What the hell are you talking about?
You and Pete. He wants you. He thinks you want him. We're staying away from this guy. You got it?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you.
How do I get a cop off my back? Here it is. 5,000. You walk away and don't mess with my wife.
Bribe, Mikey.
Call it whatever you want, Pete.
I don't know what's going on with Michael. He's losing it.
This guy's a decorated officer you're accusing. I don't care how many medals he has. I want this taken care of.
He's making up these stories.
Think maybe you're overreacting a little bit?
He threatened to kill me last night. How do you suggest I react to that?
These wild accusations about me.
Mr. Carr, is there something personal in this? I told you he was dangerous. What's it gonna take? Me in a body bag?
And anything I seem to do makes it worse.
I got a cop who wants my wife. Stay here and lock the door. Do it!
She's all alone, Mikey.
Turn! Michael!
But not for long.
Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield. And what are you going to do, tough guy? You going to make a citizen's arrest? Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margo D. Hello, my friend.
Don't shoot me. I'm a lawyer.
My other pick. Such a good one. I'm like, that's going to get you killed. We are dorking out about 1992's Unlawful Entry. It's directed by Jonathan Kaplan, screenplay by Louis Colick, starring Kurt Russell, Ray Liotta, and Madeleine fucking Stowe. So hot. She's so hot.
Yeah.
Did you see this movie in the theater?
No, I did not.
No.
No, because you sound just, oh my God, you okay?
No. I'm just kidding.
That was like a Scooby-Doo response. No, Zoint? No, I did not, because I thought like, oh, this looks like every other fucking movie. And it was every other movie.
Truth. There were so many of these movies. By the way, we've covered so many of these movies. The presumed innocence, the sleeping with the enemy, the consenting adults. What's the other one? Pacific Heights.
Pacific Heights. There was also the one with Bridget Fonda and Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Oh, Single White Female.
White Female. There was a lot of that. There was Roommate from Hell.
Yes.
And I think the Cop from Hell, I was like, I know they're shitty. I don't need to. Yeah. And I like Ray Liotta. I like all these people very much. I mean, and they're all beautiful. I mean, they've never been more beautiful. They're all at their peak.
True.
But do you remember the show The Critic that was on Comedy Central?
Oh,
John Lovitz?
Yes, it stinks.
It stinks. Like that's what pops in my head when I see we're like, oh yeah, this is really bad. It was fun though. I would just say it's mostly watchable, but this is very cookie cutter for like early 90s thrillers.
Yes, it is. And we have, because of the state of the world, Margo and I have been covering a lot of really silly comedies on the show, and one of the other type of movies that like we love to talk about are like 80s and 90s thrillers like this, and this one is we've also done China Moon that with also Madeleine Stowe. Like these types of movies are really, really fun to talk about, and I also want to point out that this might be the third or fourth movie in which Madeleine Stowe is so beautiful that it drives men crazy and they do crazy things. That's what the whole movie is about.
Which is laughable, but at the same time, and then you see her and you're like, oh, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's stunning. She is like a perfect creature.
Yes, exactly. So I saw it in the theater because it was playing at my movie theater, so I could see everything for free. And I just saw everything back in the day. So of course I saw it and I was like, yeah, that was fine. It was something to watch. But it's not something I've gone back to over and over. It's no Pacific Heights.
It's no single white female.
It's no single white female, but it's still like, it's really entertaining and totally batshit. And let's just talk about it. So it opens with Kurt Russell and Madeleine Stowe. They're a married couple. They have like lovely home in Los Angeles, and someone breaks into their home, and he like holds Madeleine Stowe's character Karen hostage, like with a knife, a knife to her neck, and Kurt Russell isn't able to do anything about it, and he feels very helpless. His masculinity has been questioned here at this point.
Right.
The burglar, whatever, I don't know what he was going to steal, but whatever. He just runs off. He like throws her in the pool and runs off.
It was a really bizarre choice.
It's so weird. He doesn't take anything.
He doesn't touch her. And
Yeah.
he doesn't take anything. It's like he uses her to escape,
Yeah.
but then he's not going to hurt her.
Yeah.
But then he just shoves her.
Yeah. He's like,
does she even know she can swim? I mean, my God.
right. He's like, and now y'all wet, Stowe. And like tosses her in the pool and runs off.
And she still looks beautiful. Like
Always.
always. Her
Always.
hair. Oh my God, her hair. I'm obsessed with this hair.
Everything. You could have this hair. Your hair is just like Madeleine Stowe's hair.
No, hers is just a little bit better, Sonia.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. So they call the cops, and one of the cops is Ray Liotta, and this is after Goodfellas, right? So
yes, but her character's named Karen, right?
yeah, exactly.
And it's so there's a lot of like Karen. I'm like,
Karen.
oh boy.
Now I'm
Get
going to
some
treat
Coke.
you like a whore, Karen.
Let's get some Coke, Karen. The cops are chasing us, Karen.
So the police arrive, and one of them is Ray Liotta. And like, I mean, immediately, like Madeleine Stowe walks down the stairs and he's like, oh God, like eyes bug out of his head. And he's like instantly hot for her.
I've been watching for other show, What a Creep. We did an episode about fairy tales, and I just pulled some clips from old Looney Tunes.
Yes.
And so he just has that, how is she?
Yeah.
Just like the tongue unfolds gradually over a
he's
staircase.
like the wolf that's wearing like a zoot suit, and he's like, ow. She comes down the stairs. The eyes
wild.
bug out, like all of it. He's like,
Boing, boing, boing.
yeah, totally obvious. Like he has to like hold his like badge.
How he
over his
doesn't have a
boner, like,
boner. Like exactly.
Grabbing
some
up,
grabs a newspaper or something laying nearby.
I have to leave.
We're going right to the dick already.
We're childish in the best way. So immediately, like Kurt Russell's like, I'm going to buy a gun. And Ray Liotta's like, don't do that. That's how people get hurt. He's like, get a security system, maybe get a dog. They never do get a dog, but they have a cat who's a terrible watch cat, but adorable.
Oh, but that's a beautiful cat.
A beautiful cat, of course, for beautiful, beautiful Madeleine Stowe. So what happened? Oh, so the next day, like the cops have not come back to like dust for prints. Nobody's installing a security, like nothing's happening. So she calls the police and talks to Ray Liotta, and he like lights a fire under everybody to like help them out because he wants some of that Stowe.
Yeah.
He wants to touch the hot Stowe. And because they're like, hey, we super appreciate what you're doing. Like, you seem like a nice guy. They invite him to stay for dinner, and, they're very friendly with him. She immediately pries into his relationship status, by the way. She's like, I can't believe you're single. You don't have someone special in your life? And he's like, oh, just you.
I just work a lot.
And
It's kind of hard to meet a nice lady.
yeah. Yeah, because cops have a hard time meeting chicks, I'm sure. And there's also this really awkward thing where like Ray Liotta brings up that they don't have kids, and then there's like an awkward moment, and it's like never brought up again. Like, okay, maybe they don't want kids, maybe she can't have kids. I don't know what the deal is, but
they don't have money because
yeah,
he's so Kurt Russell has a nightclub. He's like running a nightclub. That's his business he's getting into.
Yeah.
And so the first time we meet him, we know he's struggling because he's like, I've got this much money and that's that. He's doing the Kurt Russell thing, yelling into the phone.
The Kurt Russell thing.
I can't do it. No, that's it. That's it. Like he does that and slams the phone. That's what he should do in his life, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, that's it. That's it. So he's struggling financially, and she's a school teacher. So like they don't have a lot of money. They're launching this new business, and nightclubs can be very profitable, or they are just a huge money pit. It's tough to. Yeah. They're tough. So there's that stress, and it's also like people used to be very blunt. Maybe it's in the suburbs it is, but I know like the city people aren't as prying, or maybe it's our age. But
no, I think people still do this where they're just like, as soon as you get married, people start asking when you're going to have kids.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's none of your business. People are getting better about that sort of thing, but it used to be like, if you get married, you're going to have kids. That's what you're going to do.
Well, you're going to get married. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, obviously.
If you're not. Right.
Exactly. And so that's the problem with Ray Liotta, right? He's not married. Why aren't you married? You should be married by now.
Well, he's handsome and he's nice, and he saved them, and he feels like a hero. So she's like, oh, I'm going to help him get laid. There's got to be a teacher at the school,
right?
That's looking for a very, very domineering guy.
Yes, very domineering, very controlling. So Kurt Russell's character kind of expresses interest in like getting revenge on the man that broke into their house, and Ray Liotta's like, hey, you should come on a ride along with me and my partner, and we'll just go out and pull over hot chicks, because but which they do. They like pull over a woman just to like check her out, and they're like, these bitches can't get enough of us. It's like, ugh, gross.
Yeah, it's very dated in its politics and its timing.
Very dated. Like almost all the criminals in this movie are black. Or Hispanic. Like it's ugh, gross. But
also and the women, by the way, sorry, Sonia, there's like 2 times I've clocked that women get punched in the face in this movie.
Yeah, there's a whole thing where they break up like a domestic violence situation. They go out to eat Mexican food, which then Kurt Russell doesn't eat. And I was like, what a waste. Like, that shit looked delicious, but whatever. Waste food. Fine. What a jerk. They go back to the police station, and then Ray Liotta's like, hey, by the way, I got a little present for you or whatever. And it turns out he's found the man who broke into Kurt Russell and Madeleine Stowe's house. And he gives Kurt Russell an opportunity to beat his ass, and Kurt Russell's like, no thanks. Like,
that feels really racist and terrible. And
yeah,
the guy obviously has a drug problem and wasn't trying to
hurt
us, that he just was out of it. Yeah,
he's like, hey, I have a better, how about we just arrest him? Like, I was just letting off steam before, like, let's just arrest him. And then Ray Liotta's character just like yells and screams at Kurt Russell, and then beats the shit out of this man, and like until Kurt Russell intervenes. And then Ray Liotta's like, what I'm just helping you out here. Kurt Russell goes home, and he tells Madeleine Stowe like, hey, our cop friend is
a wacko.
He's a wacko. Like, maybe we don't hang out with this guy. And she's like, I think you're overreacting, Kurt Russell. Like, I'm like, Madeleine Stowe, you weren't there. Like,
did you not hear the story?
Yeah.
Like, there were no red flags in that story.
Yeah, exactly.
But she's titillated because Kurt Russell, when there's somebody breaking in the house, like grabs a golf club. He's like,
Yeah.
hopefully this will work. And then just, Toodaloos goes over and he can't do it. Whereas Ray Liotta was, the guy in charge. These are the politics of the film, by the way.
Yeah.
Like this is, yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't really care that Ray Liotta kicked that guy's ass because fuck that guy. He held a knife to her neck and
Right.
she's fine with it. But they don't explicitly say like she's like, I'm cool with that, but she's kind of cool with that. And then the next day, like Karen is taking a dip in her pool, like you do. And Ray Liotta shows up and gives her a totally different story about what happens. Like gives her this story about how he got shot once and how he restrains people first and that Kurt Russell was overreacting and she seems to buy it, I guess. Then he leaves and I don't know, he picks up like a sex worker and
sex worker or I don't know. It's some blonde.
yeah.
Or just one of his side pieces.
Yeah.
Or his fuck buddy.
Yeah.
I don't know. But he doesn't take her to a motel. They're in a car.
Yeah, he's super shitty to her. They like he just like, I have a problem with sleazy lowlife whores like you and like fucking just pushes her out of the car and drives off. I'm like, cool. Awesome dude. But then Ray Liotta shows up at Michael's club. And by the way, what do we think of Michael's club?
It seemed really sparsely attended, that party. Was that supposed to be the club? I was like, wow. Could have used a few more extras.
Yeah. In the club, we're all fam. Michael Douglas's character from Basic Instinct would fit right in, though.
With his sweater?
Yeah, with his sweater.
His V-neck sweater.
His V-neck sweater vest. Like, it's also very bright in there. I'm like, the music isn't too loud. Actually, maybe I would like Michael's club. Does it have air conditioning? I'll go to Michael's club.
Is there some seating? Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
seating, air conditioning. Music's not too loud.
A place I can put my purse that won't get ripped off. I'll stay for a while.
I'm intrigued. So Ray Liotta shows up and Kurt Russell's like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't want to hang out with you. I already told you this. But immediately, like, Madeleine Stowe's like teacher friend is like, oh, hi. Like, she's like, I want to get some of that D. He puts the D in PD. Like, she's into it. And Madeleine Stowe's being super nice to Ray Liotta. She's trying to be polite. She's trying to like kind of run interference. And Kurt Russell and Ray Liotta just, he kicks him out. Oh, and that's when he picks up the sex worker and then he treats her like shit, all this stuff. But for some reason, Madeleine Stowe is still like, no, I don't care that my husband says he's a creep. I'm going to still like invite him to the school and let him speak to kids. And he is super good at it. And the kids love him.
No, and she's hoping that he'll hook up with the teacher, her friend, and that'll calm him down, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
She's a terrible friend.
Yeah, she's not a very good friend. She's like, hey, you want to go out with this psycho that like...
that scared the shit out of my husband the other night.
Yeah, it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. But Penny's into it because he like whips out his handcuffs and like uses them on a kid. And she's like, oh, and you think he could use those on me? It's like, oh, Penny. Oh, Penny.
Oh, Penny, pen.
Penny, pen. You don't deserve what's going to happen to you later. Poor Penny. And then Ray Liotta takes Karen out for coffee. Takes Madeleine Stowe out for coffee and immediately starts like intruding on her marriage. Like, Michael can't protect you. But if you need anything, I'm here for you. Like
she's finally getting the hint.
Yes.
Like, oh, he's kind of a fucking psycho. I got to get out of here. Because I'm sure she gets hit on constantly. Like, that has to be second nature.
Easily. Like, she's Madeleine Stowe. But also, like, the whole, like, if you need anything, I'm there for you. If you need to talk about how shitty your man is, I'm here for you is something that dudes do so that they can swoop right in
Yep. Be the hero.
Yeah, and be the hero and hit that when you finally dump your man. So I think most women know that though. But dudes, you're not sly. We know. Like, we're on to you. Then Kurt Russell goes to dinner with his business partners or whatever, and he brings, Madeleine Stowe is there, and the business partner guy, total creep too. He's like, I never had a teacher that looked like Karen. It's like,
Ugh.
keep it in your pants, dude. Like, so gross. Madeleine Stowe is not on the menu. Weirdos. And Kurt Russell's like credit cards start getting declined. Embarrassing. Have you ever been out somewhere and like your card gets declined or your check
Oh, yeah.
clear? Me too.
Yeah, everybody has. I mean, that's, yeah. But there's that moment also where like it turns out it's just an error, but you're standing there like, oh my God, am I in the middle of something?
Yep.
Horrified. Yeah.
It is so embarrassing. When I was in college, my roommate and I went grocery shopping and I was like, I have the money, it's fine. And we like filled up the cart and they gave us the total and my check didn't clear. And I was so embarrassed. And my friends all, what do we do? And I was like, run. And we just like ran out of the grocery store. Oh, I was so poor. Oh, it was so awful. Anyway, his card is declined. And and then his car has a boot on it. And he goes to try to clear it up. And Dick Miller is working behind the impound lot. And he's like, nah, you owe a bunch of money, all this shit. And it's so clear what's happening here. But everyone else is like, I'm sure Kurt Russell's just overreacting. Like, yeah, he just happened to piss off this cop, and then all of a sudden there's a boot on his car, and like his cards are getting declined, and
right.
It's pretty obvious what's happening here. But I guess getting his card decline is like really hot to Madeleine Stowe because they go home and they are trying to do it, and they're
both naked. Like they're both. Yeah, you do. You see both of them.
Yeah, that's what they did in those 90s thrillers, y'all. Everybody gets naked.
You had to get naked. This is before Mr. Skin existed.
Yeah, you had to get naked. So they go home and they're, trying to do it. And then the security system goes off, which is a real mood killer, I'm sure. And it turns out like Kurt Russell bought a gun without telling Madeleine Stowe, which really pisses her off. But then they fix the alarm, all this stuff. They go back to doing it. And then Ray Liotta just walks in and is like watching like a creep. And he waits for them to see him. Like he could have just like turned around and left or whatever, but he like waits and they're like, get the fuck out of here. And he's like, well, your alarm went off. I thought I was doing you a solid. It's like, gross. So gross. And this is when the movie is like, Kurt Russell's telling everybody this dude's a psycho and like almost no one believes him. And that part is very frustrating to watch.
That and like Ray Liotta has a partner who's the only Black person that's not a criminal in this movie. And but he's a bad cop like he is. Like they are up to shenanigans when they're bored on the job. And they go to a home and Ray Liotta sets it up that his partner is killed. He kills his partner and then he frames the kid that they're in the apartment of and puts the gun in his hands. And then he gets his partner killed and he makes it look like, it was an invasion or something like that, but that he's not guilty. So now he's got a dead partner and he's really spiraling and he's like bringing into the house. And Madeleine Stowe is finally realizing like, oh, this guy's really, really crazy.
He breaks into Ray Liotta goes into their house and he plants a whole bunch of drugs. And so they then search Kurt Russell and Madeleine Stowe's house and they find all this coke and they're like, he's a coke dealer. So they arrest him and he spends some time in county jail. Meanwhile, Madeleine Stowe is now home alone and Ray Liotta's like, don't worry, I'll take care of your wife for you. Kurt Russell, I'll take care of this. But she knows, like, he's a total creep and she doesn't want anything to do with him. So Kurt Russell is hanging out in prison and, well, I'm sorry, the county jail. And Madeleine Stowe is at home with her friend Penny, and Ray Liotta shows up and he's just like, I was just bringing groceries, just trying to be helpful. And Penny kind of falls for it. Like, she unlocks the door, she turns off the security, and then we don't see it, but we find out later that he killed Penny. Poor Penny.
Yeah.
She didn't deserve that. I feel bad.
Set up.
For her.
Yeah.
Set up. And then Madeleine Stowe comes downstairs, and now Ray Liotta's just chilling in her kitchen, cooking, which, you know, I also want to walk into my kitchen and have a man cooking for me. That would be great, but not a psycho. It's very presumptuous what Ray Liotta is doing.
He's crazy. And then she comes into the room and he's like, oh, hey, how are you, Karen?
Yeah,
I just thought I'd cook you some. What are you doing? You know what? We have these feelings for each other and we just can't deny it anymore. And she's like, oh my God.
Yeah. He's like, you don't have to play that role anymore of the loyal wife, and I don't have to play the role of good friend. And I was like, good friend for what? Like a fucking day? A day you were a good friend? Like,
and you were doing your job, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's icky. It's creepy, obviously. And so she's really fucking scared and she doesn't know what to do. And she's trying to play along so that she can like get to a gun or something. But at some point they like make out and she's like, wait, let me put on like, oh, Andy gives her the most awkward like massage in the world, like lays her down on the kitchen table and is like, you're so stressed. It's like, why would she be so stressed, Ray Liotta? I wonder why. It's so weird. And she's like, let me put on something nice for you so that I feel beautiful. And I guess that means putting on like a black skirt and a white shirt, like she's going into the office.
Right.
And
or
then
she's maitre d' or something. Yeah.
Exactly. She's a hostess at a very nice restaurant.
At a Bennigan's. Just make it 90s.
Look, Madeleine Stowe doesn't want to talk about her flair. Okay.
Yeah.
So they are like making out or whatever, and she goes for the gun, and he is very hurt, and then he is very angry, and of course he immediately tries to like sexually assault her now. Like it's getting intense. The car alarm goes off, interrupts him. That's when he realizes that like Kurt Russell is out of jail and running around.
And he went to the bail bondsman, and they had this whole scene there where he's the bail. That's the guy, by the way. I interviewed him for my Saturday Night Fever book because he's in that very first scene. Yeah. And Saturday Night Fever when Tony's in the paint shop.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah. He's a great guy. He's also in City Slickers.
Yeah.
He's really hilarious. Yeah. He's really cool.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, I know that guy. But a part of me was like, I actually yelled out loud, what are we doing? This is like, this movie's too long. It's like, it could really be so much better if they tightened this up.
This movie needed to be 90 minutes.
90 minutes. And it would be like a classic.
Yeah.
Of like that genre. They just really are going to art house with it or something. I don't know. But it's like there's way too many scenes. It takes way too long to get there.
Yes.
And then it takes too long to unravel it. Like, let's just go. Let's, you know.
So then it just turns into like a free-for-all brawl. Like Kurt Russell and Ray Liotta are fighting. They're like rolling around. At one point, I think Kurt Russell hits Ray Liotta with a frying pan, and it's like bong, like a cartoon. It's like ding. It's ridiculous. It actually made me laugh out loud when it happened. He tries to, the security alarms are going off. It's all just total madness. Like, and at some point, Madeleine Stowe and Kurt Russell like get away from him, and they like knock him down the stairs, and he gets a gun, and then he just fills Ray Liotta with lead, just pumps him full of lead because guns are the solution to all of our problems. And then Kurt Russell and Madeleine Stowe like sit on the porch and wait for the police, and they're holding their cat, like one little happy family. And oh, this movie's so 90s.
Yeah.
So 90s. I mean, that's what I like about it, but
It
needed
was
to
a
be
great
shorter.
distraction, but I also thought it's way too long. It should have been like you take 20 minutes out of this thing easily.
Easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it would have been just real tight.
Yeah.
But everyone looks great.
Everyone is, I mean, Kurt Russell's never been, they're all just so good looking.
Yes, so good looking.
And it's also like a time like no one's carrying phones everywhere. Like it's just different.
Yeah. There's Kurt Russell was in another movie, I think maybe a year or two before this, called Tequila Sunrise. And it was like him and Mel Gibson and Michelle Pfeiffer. And the three of them also, it's like the three most like beautiful people. Mel Gibson can eat a dick, but like he was very handsome in the movie. Like
he's a handsome guy. Look,
yeah, he's a handsome guy. Yeah. I don't think he is anymore now. I think he's ugly inside and out. But these kinds of thrillers were all the rage, and it was like usually two men and a woman, and they're all incredibly beautiful. And
nowadays we get a threesome scene. We don't, but back then they would never give it to us. And that's like the disappointment. I know, because we're just like, oh, it's coming up. And it's like, no, they're just going to hint at it. Drag.
There are a couple of other people who all turned down Ray Liotta's role. One of them was Mel Gibson. I'm like, sure. Like, Tom Berenger. Yeah. Tom Berenger totally could have played that role, but he did it in Sliver. So maybe want to do that again. Charlie Sheen. I'm like, he would have been too young, right?
He would have been too young, but he probably would have been good.
I mean, he's crazy.
He's crazy. Yeah.
John Travolta turned down the role.
He turned down that role in 92. What his career was like in 92? That shocks me.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. Apparently Kevin Bacon was also considered, but I don't think Kevin Bacon's right for that. Kevin Bacon's right for the husband role.
Yeah.
But for the husband role, it was Kevin Costner. I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
And Bill Pullman.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Bill Pullman does that I'm fucking scared face better than anybody.
Yeah. Bill Pullman was in Malice, which came out the following year, and we will definitely do an episode on Malice at some point because it has the whole Alec Baldwin doing I am God thing that is worth exploring. Did you know that Ray Liotta was nominated for Best Villain from the MTV Movie Awards?
That makes sense.
Yes. He did not win, but I thought you might like to know who else was nominated.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised, I think, at who the winner is. So here's Ray Liotta, Sharon Stone for Basic Instinct, Jack Nicholson for A Few Good Men.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito for Batman Returns.
Terrible Penguin. Boo.
Boo. And then Jennifer Jason Leigh for Single White Female.
And she was awesome in that.
Yeah. Do you know who won?
Sharon Stone, right?
Jennifer Jason Leigh won.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that is surprising because that was Sharon's year.
Yeah. I mean, Basic Instinct was like unstoppable, and Sharon was like a movie. Sharon, like I'm her friend. Sharon, my friend Sharon, was a huge movie star after that. But Jennifer Jason Leigh is really good in that movie, and we did an episode on Single White Female if you want to hear it.
And also Basic Instinct.
And Basic Instinct. And Pacific Heights, which is one of my favorites that we've ever done because it's so fun.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear some other Ray Liotta movies?
Yes. R.I.P. Ray Liotta, by the way.
Know. I mean, other than Goodfellas, basically. Something Wild.
Great movie.
So great. Field of Dreams.
He's great in that.
He's so great. Same year as Unlawful Entry, Article 99.
I don't know that one.
It's like a medical show or a medical movie with Kiefer Sutherland. I remember thinking, it was fine. It's fine. This was a movie that existed, Operation Dumbo Drop.
Oh, I remember that. Dennis Leary?
Yes. A movie called Unforgettable.
Oh, I know that one.
Apparently it's a little forgettable because I don't remember who's in it, but it's basically this. It's another Unlawful Entry situation. He was also in Copland.
Yep.
Which I remember liking. Hannibal.
He's got a gruesome scene in Hannibal.
So gross. Heartbreakers.
Oh yeah.
He's really, really funny in Heartbreakers.
I have not seen that in a long time.
Yeah. We could put it on the list for sure.
That could be. That could be a fun revisit.
Sigourney Weaver and Jennifer Love
Hewitt. Yeah.
Gene Hackman, Jason Lee, Ray Liotta.
Oh, that's actually pretty good.
That's pretty good. Okay, 2 more. The Many Saints of Newark.
Mm-mm.
I didn't see. And then Cocaine Bear. That's right. Cocaine Bear.
Which I've never seen.
I saw it. It's exactly what you expect.
Yeah. That's what I expected. Do you want to hear the top 10 songs for when this movie came out?
I can't wait.
So this is June 27th, 1992. The top 10 songs were The Best Things in Life Are Free, Luther Vandross and Janet Jackson. I'm not remembering it.
I don't remember that one, but
keep going. Number 9, Arrested Development, Tennessee.
Love that song.
Number 8, oh my God, Billy Ray Cyrus, Achy Breaky Heart.
Dude, you couldn't get away from that song. It was everywhere.
Number 7, Celine Dion, If You Asked Me To.
Yeah, another one that was everywhere.
Number 5, I fucking love this song. En Vogue, My Lovin', You're Never Gonna Get It.
I was just listening to it today. It's the best.
That's a fantastic album. Sophie B. Hawkins, Damn, I Wish I Was Your Lover. Do you remember people were shocked to find out she was a lesbian? I'm like, can you see the video?
I really like that song, but I used to say it all the time to people where I was just like, damn, I was your lover.
Number 4, Crisscross, Jump. Wiggity wiggy 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 whack. Wiggity wiggy whack.
It's a good one.
It's a great song. Number 2, Sir Mix-a-Lot, Baby Got Back.
One of my all-time faves. My
all-time jam.
My mom requests that song at weddings all the time. It's so funny. And we all dance.
I forgot to say number 3 because Red Hot Chili Peppers, Under the Bridge.
I hate that song.
Fucking hate that song. And then number 1, Mariah Carey, I'll Be There, when she did her Unplugged album.
Oh, dude, that album was so popular.
Yeah.
I hate that song, Under the Bridge.
Oh, it's the worst.
I'm glad you skipped it.
Ugh. They played it they still play. If you have a rock station, listen to it. And I'm like, these guys are creeps. Why are we even playing them anymore? But anyway.
Other people.
Whatever.
My friend, what else are you dorking out about?
A few things. So I don't know if I talked about this last time, but I've been reading some rock biographies, autobiographies, and biographies. And so I read Alex Van Halen's book, Brothers, because I'm a huge Van Halen fan. The first 6 albums and then no 5 or 6 6 albums, right, up to 84, and then I'm out. So that was just where Alex, by the way, who went on to record with Eddie for the next 20 years, and then he talks all of his interviews we were only good up till 84. Okay, dude.
At least he's honest.
He's honest. There's a lot there. His brother Eddie died the day after my brother Joe died, which is, so there's always I kind of when he talks about it, I kind of feel like a kinship. And on top of that, I've been a fan forever. So anyway, it's a good read. It's not a perfect read. It's hard when you're with these biographies especially when they're rock stars, is when they were alcoholics for long stretches of their life. Like
Yeah.
it's very hard to trust their memory or their
Yeah.
recollection of things.
They become an unreliable narrator at that point.
Correct. But like they never talk. He never did interviews before. He's never done anything like this. So it's interesting for that. If you're interested, he reads it on Spotify. If you have a Spotify subscription, they have audiobooks on there. And there Al Pacino's on there that I just listened to. It was really good. Alex Van Halen. He has a great voice. I don't try. He says things like, "Oh, I flirt with girls backstage." I'm like, "Flirt with girls backstage, dude." We saw pictures. Like I was a fan.
Flirt's doing a lot of heavy lifting. But anyway, if you're interested, I would say check it out. I mean, he's been doing a ton of interviews lately. I finally got to Moon Zappa's book, Earth to Moon, and I'm finally at the good parts. She had her upbringing was really strange, and her father was Frank Zappa. They had a hit song called Valley Girl, which was amazing, but like his only hit in his life. And I am not a Frank Zappa fan. There's a certain amount of work involved in being a Frank Zappa fan. I find like there's certain people like that's just going to take up a lot of my fucking time. Nah, I don't like
and I'm not into that. Yeah. So I like hearing about her and like being famous as a teenager in the 80s. And she tells one story about she had up on a blind date. She went on a date, with Emilio Estevez. And they're going to a premiere and they get to the premiere and then he realizes his girlfriend is in the line, like the press line. So he makes her scoot away. So Tom Cruise rescues her.
Oh,
and I know. But anyway, so
that's
those are
nice of Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
For once.
Also, yeah, exactly. Apple Plus. We're doing this for Book versus Movie, but it's The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. And it's based on a children's book, Charlie Mackesy. I'm so sorry. I'm just learning about him. He's an artist on Instagram that put a lot of inspirational content out. And it was like 2019 when he started doing it. And it's all about this boy that's lost in the woods. And he has a friend that's a mole, one that's a fox, and one that's a horse. And they're walking through the night. And the horse basically gives the kid advice on how to deal with loneliness, how to deal with being scared, how to accept kindness and embrace kindness. I was like crying my eyes out. It's on Apple. I was just
going to say, this is going to make me cry.
The book really got to me, but watching the movie, it's only 30 minutes. It's a short film. It's on Apple Plus. It's Gabriel Byrne does the voice of the horse. Idris Elba is in there. Tom Hollander is in there. It's got some great people. It's really moving. I cried. It's just really beautiful, especially in these times. If you're looking for some inspiration, if you're feeling a little lost, if you're feeling a little, uncertain, it might be a good watch. The book's on Unlimited on Kindle right now, and it's quick, fast read. It's just beautiful. And what's funny is that. So that's next Book versus Movie. So it's The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse.
I will definitely check that out.
And follow Charlie Mackesy. It's Mackesy on Instagram. And there's a lot of artwork there. And it's also the woman that does the music for this is Isabel Waller-Bridge. And her sister is Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and which leads me to talking about Below Deck Sailing. Because I'm obsessed with Below Deck Sailing. There's a woman named Emma that's on, and I just posted on my Blue Sky. There's a woman on that's like 30. She says she's 34. I think she's older, but she's British. He looks like Phoebe Waller-Bridges, and she's a deckhand. She's not a stew, and she doesn't know how to do anything. And she gives up. The second she starts something, she gives up. Yeah. They're like, pull the ropes. She's like, oh, I can't. It's too hard. I can't. And like, no, you got to pull the rope. Anyway, she's fucks up left and right. She falls asleep when she's on the watch duty for the anchor. I mean, she's a fucking mess. And I'm looking at her and she's wearing ratty clothes and she's smoking and feeling sorry for herself. I'm like, holy shit, this is Fleabag. She is doing the saddest episode of Fleabag. And it's kind of amazing.
Oh my God. Imagine like, I want to be a deckhand. Okay, will you do these deckhand jobs? Nah.
No, they have like two stews that argue over who has to clean the rooms. I'm like, isn't that the job?
It's
And
literally the job.
it's literally the job. And she's like, she can't do anything. So they put her on overnights because they can't trust her. Like she just can't do anything. And then when they try to show her, she goes, I got it. And then she doesn't got it. And then she says, oh, you're being condescending. You're being passive aggressive. Like, no, they just want to get some fucking work done. And you're in the way. And it's kind of dangerous to be on a boat and not be able to do your job.
Yeah. Someone could get hurt for sure.
But she just smokes and whines and kind of moans. And, oh, I fucked up again. Possible 5, me 0. And that's when it hit me like, holy shit, she's Fleabag. She's
hilarious.
Fleabagging this. So it's worth watching for that. I finally saw Agatha All Along. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I loved it.
I am going to be watching that over the weekend because you told me that I started it. I watched the first 3 and I was like, I like this. And then I got distracted by new shiny shows. But also there was like a lot of Marvel stuff going where I was like, I don't know if I'm getting all of this because I haven't seen WandaVision. So I'm wondering
you
if
see WandaVision. It's good.
And I'm like, well, maybe I need to start WandaVision first. And then
No. You started this, finish this, and then go to WandaVision. I'm telling you.
All right.
Yeah.
I will finish.
And then, and then The Penguin finished, and it was really good. It's so good. I can't wait. I'm actually excited for that movie because the next thing's going to be a new Batman movie.
Ooh, okay.
And I'll see if the Penguin's there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now that it's finished, I'm going to start.
Yeah. That's the best time to do it. That's when I did it. That's my list.
Okay. I know you're also watching Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
Yep.
I think we talked a little bit about, maybe we talked about this in our What a Creep bonus episode, but that show is just, they're all cray. They're all crazy. They're all crazy. Like and then now the husbands are involved, which isn't normally a thing. And there's like so much yelling and arguing about shit that people said on podcasts. And I was like, who cares? Like, who cares what people say on podcasts? Like, let that shit go. But it's also still so fucking entertaining and my very favorite of the Real Housewives. Like, it's so good.
It's so great. Good. And one of them is married to a much older man.
Yes.
And he's super fucking wealthy. And he has no time for anyone's bullshit. He's like 64 or 5.
Yeah, he's like, this is stupid. Like,
this is stupid. Yeah. And one guy's wife is being an asshole. And he says to the guy, y'all need to get it together. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. And he sits in his chair and he's like, oh, yeah.
He's not wrong.
Like, yeah, he's not wrong. And he's like, now. And then he goes, oh, because he wasn't used to somebody like, he's such a beta. And this guy is like, not alpha. He's just like, he just does not have time for shit.
Yeah.
And people always complain like, oh, because New York right now is really bad. And the acting that they're trying to do in the show, they're trying to produce it is really bad. Like when somebody's just really being real, sometimes that freaks people out. I think he's really real. Like, I think this is dumb. I think their tequila is mediocre. I love when he said that. I laughed so hard because I'm sure it tastes like paint thinner. It has to be bad. Mormons can't make good tequila. I stand on that.
I'll have to check if I ever see it somewhere. Maybe I'll buy it and try it. And I'll report back. But tequila makes me crazy, so I don't drink it very often.
I don't drink anything anymore. It's just, it's not good. But that's it.
Okay, and then I have a few. I am excited to see that a bunch of Coen brother movies are on the Criterion channel. So I watched Miller's Crossing, speaking of Gabriel Byrne. Hubba Hubba, by the way, in that movie. Like,
he's delish.
Yeah, it is. And surprise, it's super good. Like, I haven't seen it since I saw it in the theater. I think it also came out like 91 or 92. Gabriel Byrne, Albert Finney, John Turturro is so good in it. Marcia Gay Harden is so good. It's really, really, it's great. If you have the Criterion channel, go check out Miller's Crossing. I really enjoyed watching it. I don't think I talked about this last week. I saw Gladiator 2, and I have not rewatched the first one in a long time, but I thought the second one was really entertaining. Like Paul Mescal is the lead. He looks great. He does a really good job. Pedro Pascal is perfection as always. Like I love him. He's playing such a great character. The fight sequences are really cool. There's some of them are super over the top. Like they like fill the stadium with water at some point and put fucking sharks in there. And I was like, I don't know if that's a thing that really happened, but that's fine. I don't care. Like they put boats in there. Sure. Why not?
Sure.
Why not? Denzel Washington is having a really good time. And for some reason, it makes me really happy when Denzel Washington is having a good time.
He plays a lot of angry men. Or
Yeah.
very put upon men.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's playing like the shit stirrer in this movie. And he's so good at it. He's just, and you can tell like he's having a good time. And I'm like, I like that. I think the movie's very entertaining. Could it be a little shorter? I'm sorry, I'm turning into that person where I'm like, it can be a little shorter. It could have been a little shorter, but it looks great. There's a lot of like real sets, not digital, like real
Green screen.
stuff. Yeah, and I don't know, there's something almost old fashioned about it. And tell me, Timmy, do you like gladiator movies? Like they're very it's very entertaining. I do recommend it. Yeah, so go see that. And then I also rented, it's streaming right now, CUCKOO. Have you heard of this movie?
Mm-mm.
It's written and directed by Tillman Singer. He did a horror movie in 2018 called Lose, I think, but I didn't see that. And this one stars, I'm going to look up the name here, Hunter Schafer, who I remember from Euphoria, and Dan Stevens is in there. And I was like, another one where I'm like, hubba hubba. And it's just a very strange movie. Like Hunter Schafer's like a teenager who moves with her family to like a resort in the Swiss Alps. Her father and her stepmother are like architects, and they're helping this like rich guy build like a new wing of his like hotel empire basically. And a bunch of weird things start happening there, and I don't want to ruin too much, but there's some very creepy stuff. There's some screaming from the woods. A lot of things happen every night after like 10 o'clock. It's very creepy. I rented it. I think if you just waited for it to pop up on one of the streaming apps and watched it, I think it's worth it. It's very creepy and has one of those endings where you're like, oh shit. I like an oh shit.
Yeah.
So I can recommend CUCKOO. It was that or Long Legs, and for some reason I went CUCKOO, but I am going to watch Long Legs at some point. And then I think that's plenty. I think that's plenty for now. If you like the sound of our voices, we also co-host a podcast called What a Creep, where we talk about creeps of the past and the present. Our episode out right now, Margo was leading the charge. She was talking about the
origin stories of certain fairy tales.
Creepy.
That were really creepy. And we this time we just want to do a more lighthearted episode. So we included some clips from my favorite cartoons, from Little Red Riding Hood, Little Mermaid, and Hansel and Gretel. And I think that helped. I think it was fun.
I know it was fun because we had fun recording. Hey, Grandma!
What big eyes you got?
What big eyes you got?
I'm gonna bring you a bunny rabbit. See?
It's a good one. It's a good one, y'all. So definitely check it out. Where can people find you on the internet, my friend?
Okay, so
here we go.
Here we go. We dropped Twitter.
Yes,
so
we did.
There's no Twitter. So you can find me at brooklynfitchick.com. That's my site. I'm at Brooklyn Fit Chick for Threads and Instagram. I'm at Brooklyn Margo for TikTok and Blue Sky. Please follow me. All those places. And my YouTube channel is at my name, Margo Donahue. And please subscribe because I have a book coming out next year about Saturday Night Fever, and I'm posting really fun clips.